Welcome back. We'll start with the final chapter for the NCERT Class 6 Political Science that talks about urban livelihood. As we saw in the previous chapter which talked about rural livelihood, I'd like to bring this to notice again. Now this topic that we are studying is not a kind of exclusive topic. You cannot study this exclusively under political geography. Now what we will try to do today is to have a kind of broader understanding between the fields of history, geography, economics and political science. Now when we say history, we talked about the agricultural revolution. Later on this agricultural revolution moved on to industrial revolution. When we talked about geography and economics, we talked about the various sectors of economy, the primary, secondary and the tertiary sectors. And finally, under the political science or the civics, we would understand how these two help in the real existence of the urban livelihood. So when there was the phase of agricultural revolution, you had lots and lots of things that were coming under agricultural input. Later on you had the industrial revolution that started. So you have a kind of mass movement of people from the field of agriculture to the industries. Similarly, when we talk about the primary activities, we are concerned with the agricultural and allied activities. When talking about secondary activities, we focus on the manufacturing activities. And finally, in the tertiary activities, what we talk about is the service sector, the services that are provided. Now, the major difference between the rural livelihood and the urban livelihood lies in the type of the economic activity. So, rural livelihood, as we talked about in the previous class, is predominantly the primary activities. However, the urban livelihoods revolve around the secondary and the tertiary activity, that's the manufacturing and the service class. Now when we talk about these in the political science, what we are trying to understand here, we are trying to understand how factories work, why are factories essential, how services go around, why are services important. Now all these go under certain rules and regulations. So let's say if there is a factory, there are certain labor rules that are associated to the factory. Those labor laws help us understand what are the rights for the laborers in the factory floor. Then you have the various trade unions. The laborers themselves can form the trade unions and fight for their own right. So all this come under the political science, and that is what we try to understand the urban livelihood in terms of political science. So that was the basic key idea why we are studying this topic under political science. Now the basic concept when we talk about urban livelihood is city never sleeps. That means the economic activities that go on in the city are much more faster and much more continuous as compared to the rural area. So let's say you have a kind of milk supply that is occurring. So the milk supply would be coming up from the rural area, reaching the city early in the midnight, or let's say 2 o'clock in the morning. It would be supplied to each and every home by 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning, and finally the chain goes on. So it's the night and the day, throughout the 24 hours you have the city that is working. Some or the other activity that is associated with the city is live. So you have nearly more than 1 crore street vendors in India. Now previously there was a clause that the street vendors should be banned in India. However, later on it was realized that with such a huge population of street vendors, if they are banned, how will the economy survive? So there were demarcated zones where the street vendors could come and the hawkers could have their hawking zones. So they were known as the hawking zones, where they could establish their own area and they could sell their products and get and become a part of the economic system. These hawking zones were the zones where they were allowed to move freely and were allowed to trade. Now there are various kinds of jobs in the city. So there is a kind of rickshaw puller who is coming from the rural area. Why he migrated from the rural area is another important question. When we talked about rural livelihood, we understood that in the rural areas it's predominantly seasonal employment that is seen. So during the time you are sowing the seeds, you are weeding, you are harvesting, you have the labor that is involved. But what happens during the other period? The other seasons are a kind of empty seasons or a blank seasons for them. So what they do is, they do not find suitable jobs in the rural area, and as a result they tend to migrate to the urban area. So let's say during those 6 months they come to the urban area, and let's say a person A is working as a rickshaw puller. So he would take some loan from the bank or some other financial institute. Based on that, he would get a rickshaw that he would have. He would earn a daily livelihood based on that rickshaw. So let's say 80 rupees a day or 100 rupees a day would be a kind of earning that he would get. Similarly happens with the street vendors. They could come and have something in the hawking area, the hawking zones that are created. So you have nearly 12% of the workers who work on street. So they work either for the self-employed jobs, they bring in something from the villages or create something and sell, or they work for the repair jobs. You have similar zones which are known as labor chowks. At these labor chowks you would find people who would come in, and you can find people to repair the pipes, to repair the buildings for construction purposes, for any other purposes, for paintings and so on. So all these are the kind of activities that the urban landscape has to have in order to survive, or to have a population from the rural livelihood which is migrating seasonally to the urban area for the jobs during that period. So during the lean season in the rural area, they will come on to the urban area to find the job, and they would have the jobs. So this was a kind of jobs which is kind of again a seasonal, contractual or a temporary job. There is no job security with such jobs. There is no kind of fixed wages, there are no medical benefits. However, on the other hand, you have jobs which are in the service sector. So these jobs are, let's say, qualified jobs, the doctors, lawyers, engineers, professionals. So all these jobs would be a kind of permanent jobs. These permanent jobs would have fixed salaries that the people would draw. Once they have the fixed salary that they are drawing, they would have certain incentives. These incentives can be in form of the savings for the old age, the pensions, the PF accounts, the associated benefits and the medical benefits. So these are the two types of workforce that primarily works in an urban area. The one is the temporary or the contract employees, the other is the permanent employees. Now the government is more and more focusing on the primary and the contract and the temporary employees, and working forward with the concept of social security, that is providing a minimum level of security for them to sustain. So this social security concept has recently gained a huge momentum in India and has become a kind of part of the social sciences or the political science in specific for the urban livelihood and the rural areas, where you have the social security as one of the major elements that has been seen during this period. So these are the major things that we try to understand in the urban area. Again, you have the various economic activities, as we said, which govern the urban livelihood. We will be talking about more on the trade unions, the labor laws in the upcoming lectures and the higher classes as we move forward. This was just to form a foundation as to why it is important to understand how the activities in the rural area differ from that of an urban area. The life in the city is much more different from the life in a rural area. So with this we cover class 6 political science. We will be covering further NCERTs in the upcoming lectures. Stay tuned. Have a good day ahead.